Do you know that bigger is not always better? Well, stay tuned to find out why on today's Supercharged with Emily Momentum Monday. So, welcome everyone to today's Momentum Monday, or depending on whatever day you're watching it. I hope you have a great week, and it's all about providing momentum for your week ahead and to set the pace for what is to come. So today's topic is all about bigger is not necessarily better, but how small steps can create a big impact. Small steps, big impact. And many times we overlook how important it is to start small and to be patient with the small steps. We're so eager to see a finalized result that we may overlook it. And today I want to highlight and emphasize that for our focus and our attention today in today's episode. But before I go into all of that, please take the moment right now to hit the like button if you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook or wherever, LinkedIn, and subscribe to the channel, because this allows more people to see this, more people to benefit who are interested in entrepreneurship and want to grow their businesses. So when you hit like, someone else will get to see this. So please do that. If you're listening on the podcast, I invite you to write a review. So today, without any further ado or any further delay, we shall really supercharge into our topic of small steps, big impact. And there are three key things that I want you to focus on today. This is a big topic. I could go on and on about this and the importance of what are the things that we can do that can impact your business. But the very first thing involved in this process is a disciplined decision. Now, I could have just have said very simply, it's a decision. But there's a difference between a decision, any old decision, and a disciplined decision. And I encourage you to think about what that could mean. What is a disciplined decision? It is one that you, number one, don't come to lightly. You take your time to really deliberate to make sure that it is something you are willing to commit to. You're willing to commit to the decision and do what it takes for the decision to be effective. So that involves a certain amount of discipline. So let's say, for example, you're going to make the habit of, and that's going to take us to our next thing about the habit, but you're going to decide you want to do daily exercise, or you want to exercise more. It may not necessarily be daily, but you want to increase your exercise routine. When you make that decision, you are committing to the discipline necessary to execute. Hence, a disciplined decision means that you're willing to do what it takes to execute your decision. That is really a critical point, because we can decide on things or think about things, but not fully willing to do everything that it takes to go along with it. And that's what happens to a lot of people when they start a business or they're thinking about starting a business. I want to start a business, I would love to be an entrepreneur, or I would like to start something on my own, or whatever you say to yourself. But then, are you willing to do everything that it takes, all the small steps that it takes to ultimately have that big impact? So that is what a disciplined decision looks like. So that's something you have to ask yourself if you're willing to do it. Now, in order to know if you're willing to do it, you have to have a sense of what entrepreneurship is about. You have to have a sense about what you're getting into. And that is what I offer in my Supercharge Club, Supercharge CEO, and my upcoming Supercharge Accelerator, which is all about letting you understand what the entrepreneurial journey looks like so you can be prepared for it and you can maximize it or optimize your opportunities. That is the whole purpose of supercharging. Woo! Okay, now we got that little pep talk out of the way. The next thing about the small steps and big impact is the daily habit. Now, many of you probably have heard of the book Tiny Habits by the author Jim Clear. It's a wonderful book. It's all about breaking things down and the impact that small steps can have, or micro actions, if you will, And they give the example in the book about a plane that might be flying from, say, New York to Los Angeles, California. And if the plane just changes its direction or its orientation, shall I say, by 3 degrees, 3 degrees, it will end up in a whole other country. Instead of being in Los Angeles, California, it will end up in Tijuana, Mexico. That is how off 3 degrees can take you. So imagine the idea of just realizing that that small step over time will have that effect. Now that I kind of jumped over into the compound effect because that's kind of what that is. But let's go back to the daily habits. I kind of just skipped on over. A daily habit is what it is. What is that thing that the disciplined decision that you just made requires you to do? How does that translate itself on a daily basis? And that is where change happens. That is where things happen in general. Like that's how you build your business, is in the daily steps and the daily habits. What are some of the daily habits that you have to inculcate into your routine in order for that disciplined decision to actually come to life? So, are you aware of them? Number one, are you aware of what habits you need to start? Are you aware of what habits you need to stop? And understanding that it's not like a cold turkey thing. You can gradually ease yourself into it, but if you have the level of discipline necessary already, then you can go into it all the way. So it's a personal choice of how fast you want to grow or how fast you want to get where you want to go, or how committed you are to your goal of what you've set for yourself. So, what daily habits do you need to start doing or stop doing to make the difference? And this goes back to now the whole idea of the compound effect of what I was saying about the 3 degrees with the plane. It's that from the book that I'm mentioning about tiny habits, Jim Clear mentions that, and I hope it is James Clear. Yeah, it is James Clear. Okay, again, I'm doing it by memory, so hopefully I have it all right. I think so. Anyway, you can always double check if you want to look up the book. But when he talks about the 1% change in a habit, like a 1% thing over the course of a year will compound into a much greater number. It's kind of like when you deposit money in the bank, you put in a certain amount at a certain amount of interest, interest compounds on the interest. So, I mean, these days we don't have much interest, but anyway, when that used to happen, that's the idea, that interest compounds on interest, and that the math doesn't change, even though the amounts may vary, but that is the idea of the math. So whatever you do on a daily basis will compound over time. So if your goal is by the end of the year you want to be at a certain place or achieve a certain thing, it requires daily activity to compound to add up to 365 or 366 days is comes from what you did every day. Not just what you did in 1 month or one point in time. Even though obviously there are flashpoints that can occur where things can happen, there are outliers, yes, but the reality for most people is that incremental change, that delta, that incremental change over time that will compound to have that big impact. So I encourage you, my challenge for you today is to think about what are some of those small steps that you can take that will create that bigger impact for your business or whatever goal that you've set for yourself. What disciplined decision do you need to make? And what are some of the daily habits you need to start doing or stop doing? And finally, how will you see that compounding over time? The ability for it to compound over time. So, what I need you to do is that, again, step back and think about this for yourself, how it applies to yourself. Because I'm not just here sharing this for the sake of sharing it, it's for you to then take the time to apply it to your own situation. So today I want to share with you a new segment that I have called the Mindset Minute. And as business owners and new entrepreneurs, our mindset can get very fragile. You really have to work on this and understand that as you build your business foundation, those small steps are what it takes. We are all looking for quantum leaps. We're looking for this one thing that we can do that will make things work and make things happen. Okay, Joey had to jump in. That will make things supercharged, like beyond what they can be in a certain amount of time. We're expecting more than is realistic within a certain span of time. So the mindset concept we need to have is that when you're building your business foundation, it takes time. You have to start small. It's small steps, and small steps are good, and you want to celebrate those small steps, not overlook them. Yay, that's your mindset minute. Yay, we did it. We did it. Okay. All right, so with that, people, I want to encourage you again, subscribe, like, comment, share. Don't forget to do that. Make sure you get a copy of this book if you haven't had it, The Little Girl's Guide to Entrepreneurship. That will help you a lot on your entrepreneurial journey. Say bye to Joey. He has to make an appearance. Most definitely does have to make an appearance. And you want to say hi? You want to say good night to everybody or hello? Yay, Joey. Okay. So he understands the value of small steps for sure. So I want you guys to let me know how this resonates with you, what you think about this topic. Can you identify with what I'm sharing here today? And also, I would love your feedback. Drop for me in the comments. What tutorials would you like to see more of? So now last time I did a tutorial on Facebook profile banners, and I showcased a new Facebook profile banner that I did with some insights on it, as long as that of one of my superchargers, Sophia Muhammad. Hers is up there as well. So go back and check that out. So I want to know what other kind of tutorials, other types of Canva tutorials, other kinds of Notion tutorials. Notion is coming soon. I have received requests for sharing my time management techniques, etc. with Notion. So you're going to hear a lot more about Notion. So Notion and Canva are the two apps that are almost always open on my desktop, like always open. Those two apps in parallel. I work with them in tandem. And so I will share with you more of my workflow, more of how I use these apps, and I think they will make a really big difference for you too in your business. So let me know below what type of Canva tutorials would be helpful, what kind of Notion templates or tutorials would you like to see, and I'll be sure to do that. And if you'd like to see a Tutorial Tuesday segment become more of a regular concept that you think would help you, and if that's the case, do let me know in the comments below. And I want to thank you for watching. Again, subscribe, like, comment, share, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Okay, see you next time.